Hey guys, today is Wednesday, May 6th, and I just wanted to go over what you are doing today. So your two activities are going to be phonics and math. So for phonics, click on the read aloud, and Miss Robbins will be reading a book that also has words that follow the pattern you're learning this week. And the pattern you're learning are different suffixes. So if you remember at school, we did a lot of work with prefixes, which is like a group of letters you attached to a base word and it changes the meaning. Where do you put it? At the beginning, though. So, like, you have the word heat, which means, like, where you add heat to something or you warm something up. When you add the prefix pre to the front of it, preheat, it changes it to before, like heat before. So you have to preheat the oven before you put your food in it. Suffixes are the same, except for that they go at the end of a word. So you will see that these words listed here, like election, correction, moisture, capture, expression, and cleverness, those all have different endings, and those are prefixes that change the words like express or elect or correct, and they change the meaning of it. So you'll do your read aloud, the lesson, and instead of writing your sentences, you're going to look through books, magazines, newspapers, or anything you can find around the house to find words that use those suffixes. And last week I showed you a table you can make where you list the words you found, and then next to it you could write like the title of the magazine or book, or you could just write like I found it in a book. It's up to you. But just try to find like at least maybe 10 words, at least 10. And then additionally, optional work, you can write the words in a sentence, or you can play a spelling city game to keep practicing that phonics pattern. So that is phonics for today. And then for math, I did want to go over a little bit and review arrays. So make sure to watch the lesson with Ms. Schauder because it's really clear on what an array is and how to draw an array. And then your activity, you're going to be building arrays to match the repeated addition equation, which can be a little tricky. So I wanted to kind of go over how to do that. So like Ms. Schauder says, an array is a set that shows equal groups in rows and columns. So if I count here all my apples, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 apples. That's my set, 12 apples. Now what it does is it shows that 12 in equal rows and equal columns, okay? Now, how we do repeated addition is you're going to add a number repeatedly. So that's the name. You're adding, first of all, you're never subtracting, repeated addition. And repeated means to do it over and over again. So you're going to add over and over again, but the key is you're going to add the same number. So you're never going to have a repeated addition sentence for an array that's like 3 plus 2 plus 5 plus 7. That's not a repeated addition sentence that would represent an equal array because it's all different numbers. So it doesn't work. So first, when you're drawing your repeated addition, I would look for how many objects are in each row. So how many rows do we have? We have 1, 2, 3. That means for my repeated addition, for one of my repeated addition, I'm going to be adding a number 3 times. Now, you might be asking, okay, well, what number? So then you want to look in each row and see how many items, or in this case, how many apples are in each row. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 apples. So 4 plus 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 apples in each row. It's equal 4 plus 4 plus 4. So here I wrote a repeated addition sentence that represents my rows. I have 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, of 4 apples. So the items in each one is the number, okay? I could do the same thing with my columns. Now I have 1 going up and down, 2, 3, 4 columns. That means I'm going to add a number 4 times. To represent my 4 columns, how many apples do I have in each column though? 1, 2, 3. So 3 apples plus 3 apples plus 3 apples plus 3 apples. So here I came up with 2 repeated addition sentences. I first looked at the rows. How many rows? I'm going to add that many times. Then I looked how many in each row, and I did the same thing with my columns. Now, to really check your work, add your repeated addition, and if for some reason one gives you a different answer, you may need to go back and check your work. So 4 plus 4, doubles fact. I know that. That's 8. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That gives me 12. I already counted. I know I have 12 apples, so I know that's correct. Same thing, check this one. Make sure it gives you the same answer. Has to have the same answer because it's one array. We should all have the same answer for our repeated addition. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 plus 3 is 6. Lots of doubles facts. We know 6 plus 6 is also 12. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. So make 2 different arrays with 14 objects. So kind of like our other one, we had the array there, but now we're going to kind of start with our total and see how we can make the array. Miss Shouter goes through a lot of this in her video, but this is just some extra help and examples if you need them, because I know this array work can be very tricky. So if I have 14 objects, there's a few steps you can take so that you're being a little more efficient when making your arrays and you're not just sitting there like guessing and drawing dot after dot. So 14 objects. The first question you want to ask is this even or odd? Is my total number of objects even or odd? That's supposed to be a question mark. Even or odd. So if you don't know off the top of your head if 14 is even or odd, you can go through your doubles facts starting at like 2. So like 2 plus 2, 3 plus 3, and then see, are you going to get 14? You could also just draw it out. So if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now, if you pair it up with none left over, we know that's even. If there are some left over or one left over, it is odd. Pair, 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 pair. Give each one a buddy. They all have buddies, so we know 14 is even. It's important to know if a number is even or odd because then you can start an array by grouping it into groups of 2. So you could either start with going up and down to kind of start your columns. So there's a group of 2. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, 13, 14. There we go. So there, I knew 14 was even. I can easily start grouping it into groups of 2 to start my columns. You could also do the same by doing it with rows. So 1, 2. So I'm just kind of pairing them going side to side like this to create rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Already by doing that, how I kind of switched from making columns to rows like that, I've already made 2 different arrays. Here I have 1, let me get a different color, 1, 2 rows. And then I also have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. Now, when I switched it and I started going across with my groups of 2, I made a different array. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows and 1, 2 columns. So you can see how it just switched the numbers and I switched my rows and columns. Now, if you have an odd number, you can't start your array with 2s because if you have an odd number, 1 is going to be left out. So like if we went up a number to 15 and I just added 15 objects here, you see how we would have this guy left out? He would have no pair. So you can't start pairing them up into twos because it won't make an even row or column. So then instead of starting with 2, start with 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. And as you try to think of other arrays to make with totals, you can start with either 2 or 3 if the number's even or odd. And then from there, just try other numbers. So from groups of 3, I could try and say, okay, can I make rows of 4 with 15? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Move me. 12, 13, 14, 15. Look, I'm missing one. This is not equal rows and columns, so 4 would not work. So then I could keep going. Would 5 rows or groups of 5 in the row work? And then I could try it out. Okay. So there's some different ways you can try out to create your rows and columns as you're drawing. So what steps did we use? First, we looked at is the total number even or odd? Okay. If it's even, you can start pairing them in groups of 2. If it's odd, start with grouping them in 3s. And then to count, to make a different array, just try the next number up. So if you have rows with 3 objects in it, try to make rows of 4. If that doesn't work, try to make rows of 5. Or like we did with the other ones, you can just always try and switch it. So if you've made 4 rows and like 5 columns, maybe just try to switch it and see if you can make 5 rows and 4 columns. Okay. It's tricky, but practice will help. Now, just to kind of wrap up, I want to really practice what you're going to be doing today, which is looking at a repeated addition sentence and creating an array. So if we have the repeated addition 4 plus 4, first, let's find the total. 4 plus 4, I already know that. So doubles fact is 8. So I know I should have a total number of 8 objects. Now, remember at the beginning when we were looking at the array of apples, what we did is we looked at how many rows. That's the amount of times you're going to be adding. And then how many objects in each row or column is the number there. Okay. So if I have 4 plus 4, I can make 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means I have 2 rows maybe of 4 objects. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It could also mean I have 2 columns of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So the amount of times you're adding 1, 2 is the number of columns or rows. The number that's being added is the amount in each. So here I did 2 rows with 4. Here I did 1, 2 columns of 4. So let's try again. So here I have a repeated addition, 2 plus 2 plus 2. So if I just skip count, 2, 4, 6, I know I should have a total of 6 objects in this array. Now, how many times am I adding? 1, 2, 3. What number am I adding? 2. So that means I have 3 rows of 2 or 3 columns of 2. So that could look like this. If I start with rows, 1, 2 in this row, 1, 2 in this row, 1, 2 in that row. I'm kind of going across and pairing them across. Now, if I do columns, I'm going to start pairing them up and down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So even I'm getting a little confused myself. It's a lot to keep track of. But here what I did is I know I have 1, 2, 3 rows. So I started going across for 3 and I put 2 in each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's one array, and that gave me 3 rows, 2 columns, if you can see that. Or I started pairing them up and down, one underneath each other to kind of start making my columns. That gave me 1, 2, 3 columns. and 2 rows, both kept the 6 total amount of objects and matches this addition sentence, repeated addition sentence, okay? So when you're doing this, look at the repeat addition, ask yourself, how many times is it adding? Because that's your number of rows or columns. And what number is being added? Because that's how many objects are in each row or column, depending on what array you want to set up, okay? All right, friends, I hope this helped. Good luck today. Try your best. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you later.